There's some abnormalities that we need to talk about that have been happening over the weekend here. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oscar. We're going to be starting off over here with Solemn Scolding of all things. And I feel like we've talked about Solemn Scolding before, but for those of you that don't remember why this card is good, it's if this is the only set card in your spell and trap card zone, when a monster would be summoned, or when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, so you can negate a summon, spells and traps, and a monster effect. So you have basically all of the goodness of all of the summons, or all of the solemns wrapped up in one. You can pay 3,000 life points to negate that summon or activation and destroy that card. Now, as of filming this, it's looking like Solemn Scoldings are heading on up to about $6 a piece, with the Mega Pack version actually being bought out today, and the original new challenger still coming in about $5 as well. So what has sparked, Solemn Scolding coming back into the competitive world? The last time we saw this was Necros, with very few spottings in between here, but for whatever reason, it's returning back again as a side deck option for some of these decks. Now, before you're like, wow, 3,000 life points, is that worth it? I mean, yes, it's effectively any sort of blink on any sort of card that you're actually going to want. And I think that's actually kind of worth considering out here. Whether or not you think the hype on Solemn Scolding is worth it, if you've picked them up and you have them, it's good. I mean, the card only has 2 printings. This is one of those cards that should have been printed into Oblivion a lot more, honestly. And I could still see Konami giving this a reprint along the way. But the nicheness of this, I think, warrants a lot more of this for consideration. So, okay. Next up is Dried Winds. $25 for this. I am physically disgusted with the price point of this. We need to see this get a reprint ASAP, and I do think that we are going to see an OTS common for this. Now, Dried Winds, if you gain life points, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Cool! Awesome! Oh, that's amazing! If you control an aroma monster and your life points are 3,000 higher than your opponent's, you can pay life points equal to the difference. Destroy face-up monster your opponent controls whose combined attack is less than or equal to the life points paid. Alright, and then you can only use each effect of Dried Winds once per turn. The biggest thing with this is, if you gain life points during your opponent's turn, it's a free pop. Alright, which is good. But you mean to tell me that you have people out here that are spending $24 on this trap that you might only choose to play one of? I can't think of any of the Aromage builds out here that are going to want to slam into multiple copies of this. You know what I mean? I feel like Dried Winds is just a one of. But if you're an Aromage player out here and you were super excited for this, to be fair, this card has always had a lot of value around it. I'm never really sure. Maybe it's because it came out in Core that, good old Clash of the Rebellions, that people were looking at this. But, I don't know, man. This is kind of dumb. So, heads up, $25 for Dried Winds. And I'm expecting an OTS reprint along the way. If you're spending, or if you have Dried Winds, I would be scared of an OTS common reprint along the way, because womp, 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 down goes the value. Next up is Centurion Legatia. Now, I swear over the weekend here, I did a market watch specifically talking about the Centurion cards, and we actually looked at Legatia, and we saw that Legatia for the quarter centuries were like $60. And guess what happened over the last 24 hours? Legatia for the quarter century went crazy. And actually all Legatias have started to go more terminal. I don't know what's going on with this card. I understand that Legatia is 150% generic, which is good, but you also get what? A free battle protection for 2,000. You get to draw a card and then destroy a monster in your opponent's field with the highest attack. And then whatever else the card does for Centurion was all extra text. But you mean to tell me at this point that Centurion Legatia is heading on up to be $16 to $17 at this point, maybe even $18 by the end of the week, depending on how all of the hype and things go with this, just because it's a generic level 12 synchro? Yeah. That's the case. Now, we can't even forget to mention, Centurion did get new support along the way. Valiant Smashers boxes have also started to head on up now as well. Valiant Smashers last week looked like a very cheap set. But you've got boxes that are heading up to $70 at this point in time, and that's actually really devastating to think about out here. So, Legatia has been gaining a little bit of support. I don't know what to tell you, man. If you pick them up when they were cheaper, you're looking pretty good. But that's a lot of the same cycle of things that tend to happen out here with the market. If you get your foot in early, you're usually rewarded for it. Now, let's talk about Tearlaments. Oh, man. Tier just won another YCS out here. OMG, happy face. I can't believe that Tier managed to overcome this. Yeah, me too. I'm so excited that, yay, Tier. First of all, Tier winning another YCS is not all that surprising to me. Yes, the format changes in a week. Woo! That's actually, it's like 2 weeks that the format changes. The fact that Tier is still sitting here as this very reliable deck, once again, I guess, puts the spotlight back on things for the deck. But I want to mention this because right now, Tier cards are some of the cheapest that we've ever had. Ulti Reno Hearts are $11. Cash Tiers are, $5? The field spells have been crumbling down in value since the announced reprint for that in Rarity Collection 2. Good stuff, by the way. I actually can't wait for Quarter Century Paralinos. That's really cool. But, the Tier deck itself has lost so much value. And once again, when you have $10 Ultimate Rares, $11 Ultimate Rares for a deck, I think it's pretty impressive. And you still got people out here that are going, Hugh, Kikalos is going to come back someday. Maybe if Instant Fusion goes away. But there's now a spotlight put back on to Tier after the success of this weekend. So keep an eye on the cards. That way, we can have a little bit of an idea as to what's going on out here for the long run. I'm not too crazy about this, to be honest with you, but it's Tier, and the deck has such a dedicated fan base. It's actually crazy to see. Yeah, good. Yep, excellent. The last thing I want to talk about is Beatrice out here. Now, you might not know this, but Gold Beatrice has been floating around $4 to $5, and it's been going up over time. And recently, Virtual World players got wind that they could play Transaction Rollback again in their deck. And all I heard off in the distance was, Hugh, yes, Degeneracy, my favorite. We can finally do X little crazy factor. Yes, you can. Congratulations out here. Beatrice is gaining popularity again, all because of Transaction Rollback. And if you have missed out on this, I don't know what to tell you, man. It was very, very loud in the back over there that so many people knew that we were going to be seeing this come. It makes sense, right? Transaction Rollback, my Akashi Trap card, full Degeneracy, laugh at your opponent all the way to the bank. Makes sense. So let's call it what it is at this point in time. I think that we have a lot more interesting things to come. I think Beatrice is going to continue to be a spotlight out here, and a lot more people are going to continue to look at a majority of the things on this list out of this week. I just want to give a shout out here to all of this craziness. Every single weekend we get hit with a bunch of shit that moves around, and I'm not genuinely surprised about it. Just so happens that, oh boy, 2 sets, my favorite. I actually can't wait for this. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.